is, whatever this shakeup was, whatever this shock was, whatever this was that caught you off guard, that introduced you guys to a new reality, it's like that's more or less your open gateway. It's almost like a get out of jail free card.
Watch them grow, perceive, devote. This is the seed, like the show. Watch them grow.
Hello, Cancer. Princess India here for the 99 and the 2000 and whatnot, or whatever. Sorry about the delay in you guys' readings. Life has been hella hectic for me, but I'm getting them out as soon as I can. So love me anyway, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, if you have not cross-watched the other readings, and you probably have, tried to find where the signs I've done thus far have been in your chart somewhere, you know how this goes. For the extended, we're doing a pick a card, and you're going to pick either card 1, 2, or 3. In the extended, we're going more into specifics before, well, I cannot talk right now, but for the general readings, I keep it really general on YouTube, and we go more into specific areas of your life over there on Vimeo. So if you feel that you need something a little bit more specific aside from what we have on YouTube, you pick your card, you go over there, and we talk about your group over there more specifically. You know what I'm saying? So pick 1, 2, or 3. So while I'm shuffling these cards, I'm going to tell you what it is I got intuitively. Now, I don't know what's going on in your life right now, Cancer, but it came really fast. And I can't remember who that was. It was probably like last month that I got a message that was really visual like you guys, but you guys came hella quick. And I had to jot down like a couple of key words because I didn't want to forget. But the whole premise of what I saw was like a hurricane, right? Something I'm very familiar with, BTW, you know. Had to put on the Saints shirt for that W we got against the Bucks. Just saying. Moving right along. But we're familiar with hurricanes. But how I saw it is like after the storm, so to speak. So it was more or less like seeing this huge hurricane, everything being engulfed, and everything is over. The sun is out, and now it's kind of like picking up the debris, so to speak. So the first thing that I heard was ground the fantasy. The storm is over. And then I just put keywords of just to kind of pinpoint my memory so I didn't forget, but I have the way forward. There's a better future ahead. And the whole key now of what I was getting from it is more or less like, if you stay with that theme of cleaning up after a hurricane, and I think about like for us with Katrina, it was needing to come back home, survey your property, seeing what was damaged, seeing what it is that you can, what can you keep, like what can be, I can't think of what the word is for it, but salvaged, like what could be salvaged. And then it's like, you know, gutting out your house and, you know, getting a contractor to come in to rebuild. So if you think of that, the energy of that is very systemic. It's very, I don't know why this word is coming in my head, but that's not the proper word. It's probably because I live in New Orleans and we're being regentrified. But for some reason, regentrification comes up. It's not the appropriate word. It's neither here nor there. But it's just more or less rebuilding. So it's having gone through this, whether this is an emotional sense or you guys going through some type of physical loss. I don't know. There was a hurricane that was in Florida and that hit Houston recently. So I don't know if you're a Cancer and that affects you somehow. But it's just being in this state of rebuilding. So it's taking an objective look at what's the damage, what can I salvage, what can be fixed, what can't be fixed, and then now creating a program or a system or a plan to salvage what can be salvaged and to rebuild from what it is that you have. So it's more or less laying a foundation for how you guys are moving forward in October. So the energy that I'm feeling for the month of October for my Cancerians, it's very much of a, it's an energy that's influencing you guys to look within in a sense, but it's to, and I'm seeing it like a math problem. This is so weird, but it's like, if you look at what you have now, what has to be thrown away, what you can salvage, like what you're really dealing with, and you do it like a math problem, and you look at where it is that you are, where it is that you want to go, right? And you take what the ideal is and you subtract where you're at from that ideal. It's like what the sum of that would be, or the difference, really, what the difference of that would be is the work that needs to be done going forward. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but you're Cancers. And I think like a really tangible way to do that, because I know you guys are really vibey, my little Krabby Patties, is like if it's not something that's really life altering for you guys and it's just kind of wanting to start building in another direction, my advice for that would really be to start with your environment. Like that's something that I do. It's like when I want to make changes in my life, or if I feel like a chapter's over, I usually like rearrange my room. You know what I mean? It's like get new sheets and move the bed just to kind of break up that energy. So if you feel that you want to start with something kind of tangible, clean your car, clean your house, you know, something like that. Anywho, so with our cards, did you pick 1, 2, or 3? If you pick card number 1, we have destiny. If you pick card number 2, we have soulmate. Interesting. If you pick card number 3, we have discovery. This card makes me think of Pink Floyd. Don't ask me why. I'll tell you in the extended. Moving right along. So let's jump into you guys' cards. I'm going to go ahead and cut this deck. All right. Do. So I hope that makes sense for you guys, because it feels like very logistical. But for the most part, it's, and I feel like I said this to you guys before last month. I think we were talking about finances or something like that with you guys. But, and I said this in somebody else's reading too. It's like housekeeping, cleaning house is just, you know, creating that system for you guys to move forward. So that, in other words, is how you're grounding the fantasy. But anywho, so overall energy for the month. So what is going on with y'all in these cards, Cancer? First of all, y'all have the Lover's card. Interesting. This is challenged by the Empress. Whoa. Okay, Cancer. Past influence, we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Underlying influence, we have the Tower. Okay. Shock of a lifetime. It's always nice. Above energy, we have the Seven of Pentacles. And y'all's energy is looking so fantastic. And then we have the Eight of Swords. Well, that's probably the reason why I was telling you guys all that. Okay, so anyway, moving right along. So with our overall energy being the Lovers, what we're talking about here is kind of probably why I saw that math problem. It's like there's a marriage between two extremes, right? So I call this finding the middle road. We look at the Lovers of saying, oh, it's a need to make a head or a heart decision in so many words. And it's like, yeah, but it's so much deeper than that. It's like, it's not really so much of choosing the heart over the head or choosing the head over the heart. It's finding a way to interline the two of these. Now, just kind of pinging on our groups that we have here, all 3 of these cards are very relational cards of what we're going to talk about in the extended, because the Destiny card, it kind of speaks of like a twin flame union, and soulmate cards like a regular soulmate. You know, I mean, the Discovery card even has hints of love in it. But seeing this come out with you guys' overall energy for the month being the Lovers, it's almost like a reconciliation, but I'm not really seeing this so much as wow, and the Tower is so appropriate for the fact that I saw devastation after a hurricane. It's neither here nor there. But anyway, but I'm not seeing it so much as a reconciliation between you all and someone else. Not saying that that's not possible, because I'm not focused on love with this, but apply it where you feel it's relevant. But I'm seeing this more as an inner reconciliation. So with the Tower being the underlying influence of this, whether this be something in you guys' external world or something in your inner world, I feel that there's been some type of shock or shakeup, or you guys are going through like somewhat of a tumultuous time right now, or people are falling away, things are falling away, and things are kind of in disarray in your life in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But the whole goal of this month is really to step into this Empress energy, which is your receptivity energy, your feminine energy, your connection to spirit energy in so many words. And I'm even looking at this like with your atypical meaning of the Empress when we talk about being pregnant, not literally pregnant, but pregnant with possibilities. And I'm thinking to what I wrote down with you guys with grounding the fantasy. So it's more or less, October is a month for Cancer to, wow, I can use a pregnancy reference here. It's like in the month of October, how it is for Cancer, it's almost like whatever it is you guys are trying to birth into this realm, it's like a little fetus, you know, a proverbial fetus in your proverbial uterus, even if you're a dude. You know what I'm saying? And the whole key now is to give the proverbial fetus nutrients, to give it a safe environment to grow. So this is whatever idea you guys are nurturing. So with the Seven of Pentacles that I'm seeing in you guys above energy, that's more or less the tangible, tactile actions you guys are taking this month. So if you think about it in the sense of a farmer, so we can get out of the fetus energy, is if you think about planting a seed into the ground. If you're planting a seed into the ground and you're trying to, have a harvest or start a garden or whatever, it's like you're going to have to tend to your seeds. You need to make sure they get enough light. You need to make sure they get enough water. You got to give them the plant food and fertilize it and check on them and things of the sort. So it's more or less nurturing this idea, goal, or dream, or lifestyle, or whatever it is you guys are trying to cultivate this month. So it's not to say that this month isn't necessarily an action-oriented month, but I feel it more as the actions that you guys are taking, although what you're doing may affect other people by proxy, like in the sense that, if you're a parent and you have kids, or you're in a relationship, or you have a roommate or whatever, it's like what you do, by default is going to affect those around you. But I feel that the central focus is you guys. So if you have a habit of self-sacrificing or putting other people before you, or focusing your energy on other people's needs, this month is not the month to do that. Because I feel what the thing is that with this Eight of Swords going forward, what could happen with this and how you guys could end up in this energy is one of a couple of ways. Either you overanalyze a situation, like meaning something isn't working, like this tower, right? So it's like something falls away, something doesn't work out or has not worked out. And it's like, if we go back to our hurricane analogy, it's, sitting there and crying over the fact that a hurricane happened and your house is completely destroyed and you have to rebuild. But I'm not doing anything to rebuild. I'm just upset at the fact that a hurricane happened and I can't believe that this happened. And it's like, where am I supposed to start? What am I going to do? Like, this is just so unfair. Like getting stuck in that mindset, right? Another way that this could happen is your house is destroyed from this proverbial hurricane and you go help your neighbors rebuild and just leave your house there. And then you completely rebuild your neighbor's house and now you're still homeless. You know what I'm saying? Or it's just getting really stuck either in a defeatist mindset or not reconciling these two warring parts within yourself, right? Because I feel the way out of this is this tower. Whatever it is, whatever this shakeup was, whatever this shock was, whatever this was that caught you off guard, that introduced you guys to a new reality, in so many words, it's like that's more or less your open gateway. It's almost like a get out of jail free card. It's something that sets you free from bondage. And it's more or less a turn, because looking at this is the energy that's passing away, the King of Pentacles in reverse. The King of Pentacles in reverse is not a good dude. But I'm not saying it as a literal person, but meaning it is an energy. It's a person, and we can look at this as two different sides. It's like this is somebody that's either focused too much on others and ignoring themselves, or they're focused too much on themselves and they're ignoring others. So whatever shakeup has happened, all of this has transpired for the sole purpose of setting you guys free from relating in this way that's either selfish or selfless, like in a self-sacrificial kind of way, putting other people before you. This shakeup happened to set you guys free, to show you that there's a middle road between these two extremes. It's like you can maintain your boundaries and take care of yourself and take care of your own life, still have people in your life, or you can allow people into it, right? Because I feel that most of the Cancers that would resonate with this, they're falling on those two sides of the fence. It's either it was being too self-involved or not being self-involved at all. So I'm more or less seeing this as a clear pathway through to assist you guys in making yourself a priority moving forward. But with the Eight of Swords going forward, I'm seeing that more or less as old habits die hard, right? And for some of you, and it may be a lot of you actually, the key is here is breaking you out of masculine energy, and not meaning that
it has become a popular trend using DNA to find out your family tree. There is even a hit TV show
that is so creepy.
which helps people learn about their roots. But did you know you can also use DNA to learn about your family pooch? Les Trent reports. This is me. My DNA. It helps make me who I am.
Dude, that is so creepy. I don't know what happened, but Inside Edition just came on my phone. It's on the floor. I literally did not touch it. It just all of a sudden it started playing. I don't know if that has some kind of relevance. It's about DNA testing your dog. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that has some type of relevance to someone. I have no idea. That is so weird. I don't know. Y'all know I like to look at stuff as omens. I don't know. Maybe you need to go get your dog DNA tested or something like that. I don't know, y'all. That's neither here nor there. But anyway, what I was saying was, I'm seeing this more or less with the King of Pentacles being reversed. What we're talking about is needing to counterbalance. It's like, if we talk about it in a sense, like, because this has been heavy in the news lately, toxic masculinity, but not meaning it like in a gender sense, but meaning it illustratively. How I'm seeing this is the energy that's falling away is Cancerians, whether you're male or female, operating in a toxic form of masculine energy, right? And I don't mean that gender based, but it's two sides of the shadow side of masculine energy. And that's either in the sense of, being too self-involved, or, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, I totally am, but it's like being too self-involved or being too selfless in a sense. So this whole Empress energy is coming in with this tower to help you guys counterbalance it so that you're more balanced in this yin and yang kind of facet of operating between masculine and feminine when need be, right? So the whole thing that I'm saying is that we're talking about you guys self-caring, focusing on yourself, making a plan to move forward, and it being less about other people this month. But you want to guard against it because, like I said, with the Eight of Swords, old habits die hard. The only way that you guys could potentially end up in this Eight of Swords energy is if you stay too much in a headspace and you don't drop down into your heart space to tap into this more feminine energy, is what my whole point is here. But going into our extended, the first card that we have over there is the overall energy of like why this is happening. And the last card that we have here, like I said, which is the Eight of Swords, those two cards, I read them together to get more insight into how not to end up in this to where you guys end up stagnating. But the way that I feel it, it's more or less like analysis paralysis, in other words. It's being too much in your head and not taking any action, or being stuck on what it is that has fallen away. But seeing the fact that in the center of you guys, that in the center of you guys reading, the fact that it's three major arcanas is letting me know that this is very much influenced by spirit of why all of this is happening. I lost a die. I don't know where it went, y'all. Come on, finger toes. I don't know where it went. Dagnabbit. Which one was it? Y'all, I lost a die. I really don't know where it went. That's ironic. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Wait. Finger toes, don't do me wrong. Don't judge me, Cancer. Pisces didn't judge me. Neither did Libra, because this happened in both of their readings. Yes, I am using my finger toes. No judgment. Okay, love your face. All right, if you want to ask a yes or no question, you can go ahead and do that now. I gotta be extra, y'all. All right, we have Taurus, we have Sun, we have yes in a few months, we have family, and we have Capricorn. So Taurus, Sun, yes in a few months, Capricorn, and family. And now we shall throw the dice that have no name. We have North Node and South Node, number 3, which is the Empress, and Taurus again. Oh, well, that's fascinating. You need to step into your inner Taurus. I'm just saying. But the Empress card is it's a card representing Venus, and Venus rules both us and Libra. So hang out with your Taurus friends, learn a little something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Moving right along. Oh. Here's another thing. We'll talk about this in the extended. Whenever North Nodes or South Nodes come up, I always use those as like an oracle in a sense. And with the North Node and Taurus, it's a lot to be learned there. So we'll go into detail with that. But anywho, with North Node, it says, you're now learning something new about your destiny, where you're going, what you're developing that will carry you forward, your legacy. I would agree with that, Cancer. I'm just saying. That's what it's looking like to me. It's almost like you guys are going through a transition, but it's like how I'm seeing this Eight of Swords, it's like the spiritual energy is here to, and that's why I say old habits die hard. The spiritual energy is here that's ushering you guys into a new beginning. But it's like how spirit is showing it to me, it's like a refining process. Because if you think about like with gold or any type of precious metal, it's like it has to go through this refining process in order to get all the impurities out. It's like that's what I feel like you guys are going through. But it's like being in this Eight of Swords energy isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just more or less, I see it as like the 3D version of what's happening in the ethereal realm. Because if you think about the traditional Eight of Swords and the woman being bound and the swords being around her, in that card, there's like a little, stream of water by her feet. And the truth is, even though she can't see, if she were to just trust in, that water, which would be emotions, and follow her heart, in so many words, follow the path of her emotions, she would find the way out of the mental energy. So that's why the Lovers is coming in. It's more or less like a counterbalancing act, in so many words. Hopefully that makes sense. Moving forward, your arcana for the month is the Empress. And it says your spirituality gives you strength, expansion, the creator, perseverance and change agent, creative inspiration, live your dreams, transform, allow, and birth it into life. I have a side note here. I don't know what that means. Matter, energy, and soul. Oh, that's interesting. It's the outlier. So that's the triune. It's like you have matter, which would be your body. And then you have your life force energy, which is your animating force, and then your soul being apart from that. So it's like the soul is the higher power, in so many words. It's a lot of what we're talking about. It's a lot of spiritual, personal growth stuff. But yeah, man, Cancer, that's what I got for you. We're going to go over to Vimeo and get into our 3 groups over yonder and go a little bit more into the spread more specifically. But you can follow me over there. If not, that's totally cool. I still love your freaking face. I will see you guys sooner than later. You guys might be in a place where you feel like you're getting kicked while you're down. Like it's almost like a series of unfortunate events, in so many words. I want to say that to encourage whoever is watching this, is that you may be really feeling like you're kind of on your last leg. And so North Node in Taurus, it's energy. So it's more or less relating to people in unhealthy ways. My group 2 and 3 people, like I've been disappointed by people so many times. I just don't expect anything from people anymore. Right after this Tower, there is another pathway, a different way to relate to things, because the old way of being just isn't working anymore. You guys might be in a place where you feel like you're getting kicked while you're down. Like it's almost like a series of unfortunate events, in so many words. I want to say that to encourage whoever is watching this, is that you may be really feeling like you're kind of on your last leg. And so North Node in Taurus, it's energy. So it's more or less relating to people in unhealthy ways. My group 2 and 3 people, like I've been disappointed by people so many times. I just don't expect anything from people anymore. Right after this Tower, there is another pathway, a different way to relate to things, because the old way of being just isn't working anymore.